That's a nice little slap. That's a nice pound. There's strength in coming together. But these individual digits don't make the same amount of impact as they do when they come together. Purpose and stand. After you've done all that you knew to do, stand. Stand for purpose. It was through my storms that I learned what my purpose was. E3, encourage, enrich, and empower. I began to share how I overcame some of the most horrific financial tragedies in my life. You name it, it happened to me. And every time I heard someone talk about financial issues, I began to share how I came out. And that's when I realized my purpose, the E3. My purpose is to encourage others through the written and spoken word. Enrich others through the written and spoken word. To empower others through the written and spoken word. I've been doing that since I was a child. How did I get here? It pays to hold on. When you remember the challenge, but you remember how you survived, then more roots. Just like the tree, we have to discover what we need to hold on to. But we also need to discover what we need to let go. We need to let go the negative thoughts that tell us what we can't do. But we need to hold on to those that support us, the things that support us, the activities that support us. Roots represents our heritage, our lineage, known or unknown. It's sad to me when I hear someone say, I don't have a heritage. Even if you're unaware of what your heritage is, you still have one. We all came from someone. We all came through something. And all of those things and individuals caused us to be who we are in this very moment. Bahamas is known for its heritage. I did my research. Family is important. Faith is important. Community is important. And I thought, these are my people. We're the same. We're no different. Because we have those same values. In Chicago, in Florida, in Ohio, we have those same values. Purpose gives us an opportunity to serve. Another favorite quote I have is, service is the rent we pay to live on this earth. If we are not serving, we're squatters. If we're not serving, we're not fulfilling our purpose. Toastmaster allowed me to serve. Last year, I was a leader in the district for the first time. I became the area director. This year, I held 2 president's office and secretary's office and got all 3 of my clubs to distinguish, which is a high honor in Toastmaster. And I became the Toastmaster of the Year out of 25 Toastmasters. It wasn't for the award. It was fulfilling my purpose and service.
Well, let your light shine and earn your place here. She says, I'm so impressed with Cynthia. It's amazing how we met her and she knew this is where she was supposed to be. And yes, I pushed her. She tells me that all the time. But she's so good. She's so good. When we have self-doubts, I say do it anyway. And afterwards, that was the best thing I ever did. So sometimes you have to have a little tough love, but definitely love. Cynthia is on her way. We all are. The speakers here will come out of their way to make a positive difference for those that are listening. So we're here for the second time, and I just absolutely love it because you will be a different person. You'll be thinking of new ways of coping, new ways of handling, new ways of rising and lifting up. Our next speaker is Megan Wade, and I'll tell you what's really cool about her. Another person, she just wanted to be part of it. And there's interesting something about Megan. She'll I won't say she calls at midnight or something like that because we have the same hours, but it's I know to answer. And there's times I'm on a Zoom and I can't, but I feel honored that she trusts me as her friend. And she knows I will listen, as I know she would too. She is an educator and a Maxwell Leadership Certified Trainer, a DISC consultant, DISC consultant, and speaker. She trains on topics of leadership, communication, customer service. She's the CEO and founder of Release to Shine. Very passionate about this. I know she's going to talk about that. And she's an organization pro, helping formerly incarcerated men and women secure meaningful employment. Don't leave anyone behind. And she's picked perfect way to have purpose. And she's a teacher in Miami-Dade. Let's give a big round of applause to Miss Megan Wade.
Thank you. Resilience through change. How many of you who are sitting here today have had the experience of you're thinking different things about yourself, something negative. You're changing your thoughts about who you are as an individual. Let me see your hands if you've been there. Thank you. Now, I have been there too. I have experienced self-doubt and talking down to myself. But resilience got me through that experience. And let us look at what resilience is. Resilience is not about avoiding change, but it is adjusting to change, adjusting to whatever it is you're going through. I thought of myself as a very confident individual. I grew up in a household where we were given a voice. We were allowed to speak. Both parents would have us sitting at the dinner table, and that was the time when the family had conversations. They wanted to hear from us, and we loved hearing the stories that they told. So I grew up confident. And then I spent 20 years in the banking system, working in middle management, afterwards migrating to the United States, working in HR, and administration. Very confident woman I was. But this was in Georgia, where I worked in HR. And I was relocating to Florida, where my husband was. Now, I applied for jobs in Florida. And one organization wrote me, and I felt that these people truly wanted me. They had a beautiful welcoming letter, almost as if I was already hired. So I was feeling confident in this job. I expected the interview to be about my experiences and accomplishments. It wasn't. Not at all. I walked into that building as a very confident woman and was led to the third floor for this interview. But I left that building feeling lost. You see, the interview had 3 parts, and nobody bothered to tell me the structure that the interview would take. The first section was easy. It was where I had to respond to scenarios, HR scenarios. So my decision-making skills and problem-solving skills came into place. But the second part, the 2 interviewers, the director of HR and her assistant, had foolscap books with questions, and it seemed as if I was asked over 200 questions. I was frustrated. I value efficiency, and this didn't seem very efficient to me at all. It seemed very unnecessary. Anyhow, the third section is where I lost myself. As you can see, that was the question I was asked. That third section focused on my resume. Are you coming here to take my job? The director of HR shouted at me. I was shocked. I was lost. I froze. I wanted the floor to just open and to take me in. My thoughts were gone. Nothing was in my mind, although I tried to just get back my thinking. It was not there. Nothing was there. Blank. I just wanted the floor to open and take me in, but it didn't. When I found my voice, I heard myself defending my education. No one should ever have to defend their accomplishments. But that is what I was doing. It got to a point where I started withdrawing from society because all I was doing was reflecting on that interview. Every day, I would play the entire interview in my head for several months. That is not healthy at all. Then I started analyzing myself. Who am I? Am I overqualified? Do I have strengths? What is my purpose? Who am I really? And then you know what that turned into? Doubt. Started doubting everything about myself. But then, I thought that I was resting. I refused to leave my house for another job interview. I attended church and the supermarket from time to time because we had to eat. But I was really retreating. I was hiding. I did not want to be seen because I had lost me. It was during that period that I recall that my friend Tanya took me to a meeting, several meetings in Kingston, Jamaica. And those speakers were eloquent. The club was called Toastmasters. And I wondered, could one of those clubs be in my area? I went online to search. I called the number. Nobody responded. I tried to find this place. I got lost. But I didn't give up. Because you see, resilience is just taking that first step. When you're feeling lost, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling frustrated, when you feel as if you don't even know who you are, when all the doubt crowds your mind, taking one step is the beginning of resilience. And that is what I did. And I found Toastmasters, the St. Lucie Speakers Toastmasters Club. What a vibrant group they were. They listened, they spoke, but I was quiet for 2 solid months. I refused to say anything else but my name. They asked if I would take part in table topics, which is impromptu speaking. I said no. Not interested. But on August 1st, 2014, I joined the club. You know what happened after? I gave my first speech. I gave my first speech. And after giving that speech, I remember writing my speech, putting the notes on the lectern, and I stepped in front of that lectern and I spoke to a group of Toastmasters in an auditorium like this. I just spoke from my heart. Then I gave the second speech and the third speech. And the rest is history. I walked into a college, Virginia College, and asked to speak with the president because I wanted a job to teach at that college. He was on his way to a meeting, but I asked for 5 minutes. And I got the 5 minutes. And I used that time to market my skills and to share with this gentleman the contribution that I would make to the students. And what an experience we had. And one thing I need to tell you about that is that he recognized me as an outstanding instructor who collaborated with the career department to ensure that our students were given the best training and preparation to go out into the world. Had I not had that horrible experience of the interview, would I have gone into teaching? Perhaps not. But that interview pushed me into avenues that I never would have thought of. Now I want to share with you 3 very important points. Evaluate alignment. Not every job that calls you, or organization that calls you for an interview, deserve to have you. They may not be a good fit. They are evaluating you and you are evaluating them. So if they're not in alignment, it's a no-no. That company was clearly not in alignment with who I am and what I wanted to become. I would have been working in an area where someone was threatened by my education and skills. You want people to recognize your strengths and your contribution. One needs to be the owner of their success. Do not apologize for any accomplishments that you have had. And remember, you have worth within you. You're valuable. All of us are valuable individuals, and we bring something to the table. Never let anyone make you feel small so that they can be comfortable. We need to have a shift in our perspectives, and so I ask you to look at the changed mindset, where you evaluate opportunities, you give yourself permission to learn and to grow. You stand in confidence and know who you are, know the value that is within you. It was my decision to rise again that led me to the Toastmasters group. And I'm so happy that I went there. What a group of individuals who don't, one of the things that I want to say about Toastmasters is that our evaluation is always constructive. We're not here to put anybody down. We want people to grow and learn. And that is where it's at for us. Now, I'm going to leave 3 final points with you. Always evaluate alignment. Always. Number 2, do not apologize for who you are and the accomplishments that you have made. And number 3, you are enough. And it does not mean, when I say you are enough, that you are better than everybody else. No. But you are enough as an individual. Keep learning, keep growing, keep doing what you need to do to succeed. Don't let anybody put you down. Look inward to the strength that is within, the power that is within you. It's called resilience. We have to change our mindset in order to move forward. And remember, you are a star. You have that value that is within you. Thank you.
Our second pillar is the power of unity. Now we need to get out and we need to meet somebody and smile across the room. It's an international language. And just say, you seem like you're kind of alone. Can I be your friend? Or maybe vice versa. And you just have to smile back and say, let me give it a try. But now that we've discovered our personal power, we discover something even greater. And that power of people working together. The key points in this one was building trust. Building trust in relationships. Communication builds understanding. Service builds community. And it's very important that we know and we truly shine, and now it's time to light your torch with someone else so they can shine too. Right now, we have a wonderful woman that's going to be speaking. That's Channing Lamar. We just all love her. She's an educator. She's a speaker and leader of the Bachelor of Science in Physical Education at Beth Union Cookman University. She has her Master's of Science in Organizational Learning and Leadership from Barry University, and leadership training through Harvard Business School Online. With over a decade of experience in education, Channing specializes in building trust, fostering relationships, developing leaders, and creating high-performing teams. I'm going to tell her a secret, though. She loves creativity, and she loves to help people smile. So let's go ahead and give a big round of applause to this Channing Lamar.
Right now, I want you to take the opportunity to close your eyes. I want you to breathe in. I want you to breathe out. Once again, breathe in, breathe out. I want you to remember back in time where you were a second grader. How did you feel? Were you excited? Were you going crazy because it was a new teacher? Do you remember who your second grade teacher was? Open your eyes. I am Channing Lamar. I'm your second grade teacher. Today, you're going to come into my classroom. What are we learning today, Ms. Lamar? We're learning about trust. How many people can trust themselves? I want you to raise your hand. Okay, I see people raising their hand. How did you build your trust? Maybe it was in your classroom. Maybe it was your mother or father that helped you through trust. I know for me, as an educator, my second grade class taught me a lot about trust. It also taught me about rapport. Like anybody else, I had a very, very great class, but prior to me, they had 6 other teachers. Yes, 6. From August to December, my students had 6 other teachers. I came in, walking in January 2026, ready. They were not ready. They looked at me and said, oh, this is just another teacher. She's going to leave us anyway. Why are we going to listen to her? I stood in front of the class and I said, class, today is going to be a different type of class. I had a really great student who we'll call Michael. Michael said, Ms. Lamar, you're only going to be here for about a good month, and then we'll have another teacher. I thought to myself, okay, Michael, why do you feel as such? He said, well, our last 6 teachers said the same thing that you said. They said that they would be here for us. They said that they would show up every day. They lasted a good month or so. So I thought to myself, wow, I only had a good month. But then that made me think, how can I change their mindset? How would I be able to do so? I did that by showing up every day. Every day, no matter if I was sick, no matter if I was happy or sad, I showed up for them. And it made a big, big difference. Being consistent with an inconsistent class was very interesting. One day, Michael decided that he was going to show me that in math, he learned something new. Miss Lamar, yes, Michael, My mom taught me something different than what you're teaching us today. So I'm going to go by what she taught us. Here goes Miss Brianna. Miss Lamar, Miss Lamar. Michael's not following the way that you showed us to do our timetables. Okay, class. I need everybody to sit and pay attention. This is exactly what I mean by education. We're all here to learn the same thing, but we learn it differently. So Michael has a way that he was taught by his mother, and I taught you a different way. But today I want you to use my method. Well, not necessarily my method. This is the educational system method. At that moment in time, I had the opportunity to realize that it wasn't about my ego. If it were about my ego, I could have said, you know what? Michael, sit down, be quiet. If you're not going to use our method, don't say anything. But I took it as a learning experience because one thing I've realized, as an educator, we are not supposed to be reactive. I wanted my students to understand that it is okay to use different methods as long as you come up with the right answer. So Michael was surprisingly surprised on my response. Why was that? Because I knew that Michael was looking for me to respond in such a way that was going against the grain. But I had already built what I needed to build with my students. They knew that I wouldn't steer them wrong. So Michael knowing a different method didn't hurt me. It only added to what I had already taught them. See, in my class, I taught them that there's more than one method to get an answer. I taught them about the 9 timetables. It is one of my greatest lessons ever. And today I'm going to teach you. You have 10 fingers. Yes, I know, 10 fingers. When you say 9 times 3, I'm going to turn around so that you get what I'm saying. 9 times 3, 1, 2, 3. Put your third finger down. Everything before the finger is 2, 7, 27. Now, my students thought that I was a bit crazy teaching them this method. However, if you do it for yourself, you'll realize. So everybody, put up your 10 fingers. Someone call out a 9 times table. 9 times 8. Thank you. We're counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th finger, put it down. What is before?
72.
72. I want you to give yourself a pat on the back. Please. You just learned a new method. See, this is one thing that I love about rapport. You may not know me. However, you know that I'm an educator. And I just proved the method to be correct. No matter what, no matter where you are, you can always show someone that they can do their 9 timetables off their 10 fingers. Michael was not buying the 10 fingers method. He didn't understand it. He didn't care. But I had one student that he listened to. He trusted this one student. She was the most quietest person in the room. But she really touched Michael. I told her, Jessica. Yes, Miss Moore? Can you please go over and talk to Michael? But don't tell him that I told you that. And show him the 9 timetables. So maybe after 5 minutes of them conversing as little kids, she comes back over and she says, Miss Lamar, I think he got it. Now, Michael was very, very outwardly expressive. So when he got the method, he definitely told the whole class. Okay, class, it's time for us to do our 9 timetables. I hope that you've been practicing. I write on the board 9 times 9. I tell the class, when you get the answer, please do not say anything. I need to know who knows it and who doesn't. When you're done, raise your hand. I let 2 seconds go by. I walk back and forth. All of a sudden, Michael is I'm looking around the classroom. Michael, do you have the answer? He stands up. Yes, Miss Lamar, I have the answer. First of all, what was the timetable again, class? 9 times 9. I'm sorry, 9 times 9. Okay. All right. Michael, show me your method. You must do it the way that we've been doing it. He puts up his 10 fingers and he counts. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He looks at his fingers. He looks at me. He looks at the class. He said, Michael, are you ready to give us the answer? I don't know, Miss Lamar. I don't know. But Michael, look at your fingers. I know, Miss Lamar, but I don't know if this is the right answer. Michael, do you trust yourself? If you trust yourself, give me the right answer. He counts his hands again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is the answer 81? Yes, Michael, it is. Michael stares at me and says, my goodness, Miss Lamar, you're so dramatic. What changed about Michael in that moment? As I sat there and looked at him, the only thing that changed was the question that I posed for him, which is, do you trust yourself? The greatest part about being who you are is about the trust that you have with yourself. The method wasn't about me. The method wasn't about education. It was about Michael trusting himself. It was about the rapport that he built with himself, with all of what we did. When I seen the glow in his eyes, it made me realize a lot. I patted myself on the back. Because at that moment in time, the focus was off Miss Lamar. The focus was on Michael. Because he trusted himself. And I could see it in his own eyes. It made me so proud. Because at the end of the day, as an educator, all I want my students to do is trust themselves. But the way that they build a rapport within themselves is what I'm here to do. Giving them the right methods, encouraging them when they are frustrated. The one tip I will tell you as an educator that I learned is that when you see a child getting frustrated as they're learning, tell them, hey, Michael, it's time for a break. A brain break is so necessary. Between brain breaks, candy, because my students love candy, and authenticity, they realized that they could trust themselves and trust me. So after having 6 different teachers, I was number 7. still, right now, to this day, get text messages through Class Dojo of them loving me. Miss Lamar, we miss you. Miss Lamar, we hope that you're a third grade teacher. That won't happen. However, I'll still be at the same school. What changed? What changed was I showed them who I was. What changed was that I trusted myself. I didn't know whether my methods would work, but I knew that I loved education. And education changed me, and I needed to make it fun for these children because they had already had months of heartache and pain by losing teacher after teacher. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't the one that they lost. Rapport. Rapport is so necessary, especially with parents and teachers. My students' parents, they were so embracing to me. When I couldn't get through to Michael, trust me, I had his mother on speed dial. And even when it was good, I made sure to make sure that I reached out and told those parts to her. Because as educators, we have to make sure that we show the good and the not so good. In the meantime, I learned a lot about myself. I learned that ego has to totally be dead for someone to listen to you. It's necessary for people to see that you really do care for them. And I really do like humans, no matter if they are the highest or the lowest. Because at the end of the day, as people, we're here to build one another up. But it brought me back to something. It brought me back to the Bahamian people. And I thought about you guys as bridge. Which bridge? I'm talking about the Paradise Island Bridge that connects two entities on separate islands. But what are you guys creating? You're creating a world where people have opportunities. I think about my opportunities. And I'm just so happy that someone trusted me to be their child's teacher. Because I wanted to put a bridge together, build a bridge between teachers, parents, and students. To show that we must trust each other for our generation to be better. We have parents working 2 and 3 jobs. I have 22 students, and I make sure that I love on them every which way that I can. And that means by building trust. By being there for them when no one else can. To be that crying shoulder. To be there when things are happy for them as well. I leave you with this. Do you trust yourself? And if you do, how many other people trust you? How many people can call on you when things get hard? Because if you're that person that people can trust, please make sure that you take care of yourself. We all need people who we can trust. We all need people who we built a rapport with. Make sure that you're building that rapport with yourself. Thank you.
In her definition, trust is happiness. Trust is feeling happy and having someone else feel happy too. And I love that. That's an excellent start with our Power and Unity. Our next speaker is Dr. Carmen Cedar Lake. I'll get her photo up there. And she is a veterinarian, very good public health practitioner, educator, and motivational speaker. She's all the way from British Columbia. On her dime came here so she could speak and share some great things that keep her purpose and passion alive. And she is, through leadership, storytelling, and education, she promotes unity, service, lifelong learning, and positive health outcomes, while inspiring others to become the best version of themselves. Right now, let's welcome Dr. Carmencita Lake from British Columbia.
Aren't they stunning?
Yes. Yes.
Do you know that when water temperature goes below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, cold-blooded sea turtles go from that to this. Their metabolism slows way down. Almost as they can't swim, they can't eat, they can't even lift their heads above water. And many drown. They call this cold stunning. And that's what happened in the Florida Panhandle in 2010, when thousands and thousands of sea turtles drowned. And that's cold stunning because of the cold front that's just swept through the area. What happened to these turtles? In order for them to survive, they needed food, they needed warmth, they needed shelter. People came from everywhere. Fishermen, boaters, scuba divers struggled in the ocean using their hands, nets, and scoops to gather the turtles and take them to the shore. You've walked on the beach, you know how hard it is to walk in sand. Imagine the volunteers, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and NOAA, all of these people carrying these sea turtles, sometimes weighing more than 2 full-grown men, trudging along the marshes and the sand, taking the turtles to the van, the trucks, and the nearby shelters. The community businesses came out. They provided the kiddie pools, heaters, blankets. The restaurants and coffee shops provided food and shelter for the volunteers. Researchers, scientists, students, they all showed up and dug in, cataloging, measuring, tagging the sea turtles that arrived at the shore. The warehouses, I guess the aquariums as well, the zoos, and the research facility, they all opened their doors so the turtles could find housing and care. Up until this point, the effort was hard. You know, So I came down to Florida for a week to help. And I worked with one of the veterinarians and the animal care workers at one of the facilities that were being used, and looked after the turtles, examining them, treating their wounds, and caring for them before they could be housed and released. Up until this point, this is probably the largest team that I'd ever worked on. And with the united effort, including the support from the government workers, as well as the other stakeholders that coordinated and supported the whole event, we were able to save 4,500 birds. Now, that may sound like a small amount compared to the thousands that were out there. But this effort, this ability to save these turtles, was the result of unity and understanding in teamwork. This was day 1, when 50 turtles arrived. Day 2, 100 turtles arrived. And you know, by now we were actually swamped. Day 5, and that storm just wouldn't give up. "200 turtles arrived. We just were overwhelmed." Imagine, look around this room, and imagine every inch of floor space covered in turtles. That's what we were feeling. Because of the 4,500 turtles that we were able to take care of, we thought that, okay, well, this is over. It's a one-time trial. But it wasn't. The same event, type of event, happened again. It's climate change in 2020 and 2021. Saving sea turtles has become common. Now, have you ever heard of Aristotle? Raise your hand. If you have, you know that Aristotle has been known for this thing. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And on that day, on those days I should say, when I was there, that's what it felt like. Because we were acting as a team. So let's talk about being a team and what that means. I'm also going to leave you with some information about service. I'm giving 3 steps to growing service. I'm going to share with you my 5 recommendations to get to unity. Let's start off with teamwork. The Webster Dictionary defines teamwork as a group of people working together, each doing their own separate parts, bringing those parts together, and working together to form the efficiency of the whole. That's what teamwork is. Now, teamwork can be found in any number of different ways. But the value of teamwork is that it's a group of people that are supporting each other. That's why we know that teamwork isn't just the same as that definition I gave you. It is about support. It's about trust. It's about relationships. And that's what this had to take in order for these turtles to survive and for us to be successful. I arrived at Curry Goat Farm one afternoon to collect some blood samples for the goats. I took my truck, I opened it, I took my kit and my cooler, and I went to the barn. I opened my kit, no blood loss. All right, maybe they're in the truck. So I went back to the truck. No blood loss. I called clinic. Kim, what happened to the blood vials that are supposed to be in the kit? Oh, Dr. Lake, Terry did that. I was busy. Well, there's nothing in the truck, Kim. Did you not check on her? It was your responsibility. No, I didn't. What am I supposed to do now? Sometimes when you're part of a team and you don't fulfill your obligation, things are an easy fix. No repercussions, and you move on. Sometimes not. That day, I couldn't fulfill my service for the Curry Goat Farm. The next day I went back, and Kim was waiting for me. Dr. Lake, I'm so sorry. What happened, Kim? Well, Terry wanted to get the kits ready. She couldn't find the vials. I was busy. She didn't want to disturb me. I thought the the kids were ready, so I took them and took them and put them in the truck. I didn't check. After you left, and after you called me, Terry and I sat down. We realized what that cost us, and we came up with a plan that was going to rectify this whole situation. And I'm sure, confident now, that that will never happen again. Raise your hands when you think that I was more confident with Terry and Kim than I was the day before. Absolutely. Because they showed 4 things that demonstrated unity and teamwork. They took responsibility. They worked towards solutions. They took action. And they were committed to team success. When I was a new grad, I was on a working interview. Scott, my potential boss, received a call. Hello, this is Kalama Horse Park. We have a horse and rider that have fallen off the trail and are 20 feet down on a cliff. Can you help? To help them, I had to go down, examine Kid the horse, and sedate him. I looked down that cliff and I said to myself, actually, I can't do this. Scott overheard me. Yes, you can, and you will. So I did. By the time that JetBlue helicopter arrived, Scott, now down on the ledge, harnessed Kid the horse, and Ken, the helicopter pilot, lifted Kid out so skillfully. By now, I was on the landing site. And I had the sheriff looking after, controlling the crowd. The park rangers were looking after the landing site. The horse owners were bringing the trailer in to carry Kid home. I had 4 volunteers who were totally not listening to me at all. You go here. I'll take this. That's not what she said, shouted the owner. And everything shifted. All eyes were on me. By the time Kid landed, we were ready. The Volcano rescue team got Kid out of the harness. Steve, the paramedic, helped me examine Kid and treat him. And Kid, now united with his owner Rick, was able to go home and fully recover. Now, none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the teamwork that we exhibited that day. And the thing about the teamwork is that I want to talk a little bit more about the leader. You see, every team needs a leader. Someone who plans for the team, supports the team, guides the team. When things are going great, they share the accolades. When things aren't going to plan, they take the responsibility. For a team leader to be effective, they need to have respect. And respect requires relationships. Now, I had no time for relationship building on that day, that horse farm, those horses, and the horse handler. But the owner did, and she made sure that they realized that I was the leader. So what is this thing called service? It's the act of helping others. Have you ever been in service? Absolutely. And if I was to ask you why it is that you're in service, you might say, well, I needed it for a class. I needed it for a job. You might say, I just wanted to help. In Canada, the Canadian students aren't allowed to graduate from high school unless they've engaged in service. Now, have you ever had somebody help you that had nothing to do with their needs? They just wanted to help you. If you're like me, I had an overwhelming feeling of gratitude. And I had a desire to pay it forward. When you pay it forward, doing service for another individual or group or entity, you utilize these skills. And that's why service is so important. It's the compassion. It's the empathy. It's the understanding. All of these things that come together to help you perform that service. And when you perform a service for somebody else, with no indication that you have anything to gain from it, just your gratitude, I call that paying it forward. So I'm going to give you 3 steps to grow in service. Number 1, start simple. Grab a coffee for your friend. Help somebody across the road. Volunteer at a speaking event. Number 2, be consistent. A little bit done often compound. And you actually get to see the changes that you make. Number 3 is find your passion and work with it. Do something that inspires you. Because nothing lifts the spirit more than doing something you love. Earlier today we talked about, and you learned about, this thing called understanding. Serving with a group that have a shared goal and vision. Without understanding, unity can't really exist because the door is always left ajar for disruption. We learned that when we talked about the horse and those men that just wouldn't follow me. Kim and Terry learned about that when they were trying to figure out what went wrong with the test kit preparation. Unity is there because, and it's such a valuable thing because people thrive when they unify. I'd like to talk about 5 recommendations to get to unity. Because that's what we really want to be. It's not just about teamwork, it's about teamwork unified. You see, unity lifts teamwork up to a new level, where people thrive. They're supported by an envelope of compassion and care and common service. The 5 recommendations I'm going to give is to gather the right teams. Make sure they've got a common goal. You know what they are. They've got shared visions. They've got different perspectives. And they can work together. They're willing to do that for the benefit of the team. Find the right system for your team. Find the right system for that team. And make sure that they're supported by proper leadership, by resources, and having sufficient time to do what they're being asked to do. The third thing is empower your team members. Don't be a micromanager. If your team knows that you have confidence in them, you're going to see them open up their eyes and open up their minds and thoughts. And what results is going to be powers and appearances and results well beyond what you anticipated. fourth is to show interest. Being aware allows you to prevent situations from getting worse before they do. It allows you to encourage your team when they need support. And it also allows you to share in small victories. And finally, it's evaluate regularly. You need to know what your team's doing so you can support them. And if it's not working, you need to be able to use that information on your system, on your team, on yourself to guide your team towards success. You now know the value of being part of a unified team. I've given you 3 ways to improve and increase your service. And that's supported by 5 recommendations to get you a unified team. Understanding, service, and getting to unity. You've got these tools. Go get them.
Dr. Carmen Silla, British Columbia veterinarian. I loved your examples of the animals that you love so much. Right now we have Jack, the fun guy, right? You remember? And we're so excited to have another superior speaker here who went out of his way and bringing his beautiful, beautiful lady of the house. And Jack, he was a leader in the financial services industry for over 30 years. Conducted over 100 workshops. He's been president of many local nonprofits, served on various boards, and is in his high school's sports hall of fame as a coach. And that's pretty exciting. Jack has been a member of Toastmasters International since 2012. He's going to show us. Let's look it up. Let's have some fun. Mr. Jack.
Thank you. Please stand up. Come on, please stand up. Now, please repeat after me. All right, nice job. On 3, we'll say it one more time, all together. 1, 2, 3. Does success feel good? It sure does. Thank you. Please be seated. When we celebrate success, it releases dopamine from our brain. That's a good thing. And dopamine can also help with our memory. So I should have celebrated more successes preparing for this speech to help me remember all these lines. Whenever I was crafting this presentation, I was watching a game show on television. The contestants were celebrities. They were playing for their favorite charities. They were playing not for cash prizes. So whenever they answered a question, though, or if they won, they screamed, they jumped, they're prancing all over the place. They're giving high fives. My gosh, like they won millions of dollars for a lottery. And the celebration of that success and the physical touch of those claps releases dopamine. Those accomplishments releases dopamine. My watch has asked me, was that an emergency going on because of the clapping? Sorry about that. I told it no. I apologize. Did you ever do something great? Felt really proud. No one acknowledged it. How does that make you feel? Morale and incentive suffer when there's no acknowledgement of success. So personal, professional, sports, accomplishments of any sort by you, your team, your loved ones, celebrate. It doesn't have to be great big things, but celebrate. Acknowledge the achievements of those around you and yourself. If you're a parent of a child, they reach a desired plateau, reward him or her. Do something nice for him or her. Give them something. Or better yet, do something with your child. Build memories. Families that talk together, walk together. Families that talk together, walk together. Success in life and professionally is determined by your ability to communicate more than any other factor. Hey, did you catch that? Success, professionally and in life, is determined by your ability to communicate more than any other factor. Woo! In my opinion, the three most important aspects of being a great communicator is one, the most important, be a great listener. Listen to what that person is telling you. I like two different stories by two different podcasters. Very similar stories. They were not talking on the air whenever this occurred. They were talking to somebody else. The podcaster was just talking a little bit. The other person was talking a lot. They did the vast majority of the talking. Yet, at the end of the conversation, the other fellow told the podcaster, "You're really a great communicator." People love people that will listen, let them talk. The second aspect of being a great communicator is your body language. More than half of what we communicate is through our body language. So focus on the person you're speaking to. Nod a little bit once in a while. Smile a little bit. Have good body language. People trust more what they see than what they hear. And I would recommend also maybe picking up a book or listening to a podcast on body language. So important. The third most important aspect, in my opinion, on being a great communicator is have empathy for that person. Everybody has feelings. Be compassionate for that person. What they say has already been filtered. It's been sifted. What's in their mind. So there might be a lot more up there that they're not verbalizing to you. So really lock your eyes with that person and lock your mind with that person. Focus on what they are telling you. Understand where they are coming from. Ask them questions. Let them go deeper. By doing this, you're bonding. You're building a trusting relationship. And that releases another wonderful hormone from your brain, oxytocin. So care about what that person is telling you. Totally focus. And push out all those other stresses in life. And understand where that person is coming from. Because I know my brain, it's like a wild 2-year-old. I may be talking to somebody, I'm looking at him, I'm nodding and so forth, looking like I'm understanding everything. But in the meantime, my mind is bouncing all over the place. I got all these chores I want to do. I'm antsy. I want to hurry up and get my 2 cents worth in. Or this guy is boring. Woo! Don't do that. Control that wild sucker. Does that happen to anybody else? Yes. I think everybody said yes on that one. That's human nature. But improve. Focus on that person. Give them the undivided attention that they want. Speaking of undivided attention, if your child, if you have a small child who's talking to you, give them your undivided attention. Look at them. They crave your love and attention. Give that. Someday you won't be able to. Your children are more important than any boss or any client. So please treat them that way. Treat them with respect. Celebrate small steps. Every little step, every little achievement by you and your team and so forth. Whenever you celebrate, it's fun. It gives you the motivation to do even more. And what is going on here? Why are they lowering the curtain on me? If you want success, celebrate success. Please repeat after me. If you want success, celebrate success. Yeah, it's fun. It gives you that incentive to do even more and more. Talk among yourselves while I get undressed.
Okay, sir. I came for a show like this now.
What is this guy doing? Oh, here comes security. Yeah. Don't wait. Celebrate. Celebrate every little accomplishment, achievement. Makes you happy. Make those around you are happy. Be alert to others whenever they have those achievements. Celebrate with them. Acknowledge those achievements. You felt sad before because you had an achievement and no one acknowledged it. But don't wait. Celebrate. Don't wait. Celebrate. All right. Yes. Good. Wow. Any ladies, may I help you get undressed? I feel like Janet Jackson.
Yeah, you almost done, sir. There you go.
Celebrate your family. And whenever you go someplace new, does anybody like going to networking events? Does anybody have fun going there? I see one hand out of 380. It can be nerve-wracking when you go to a place where you don't know anybody or hardly know anybody, or if you meet somebody new, networking or whatever it is. But it's good for you. So try to do it. And how many times have you heard an introduction at a networking event or similar event where the person says, "My name is Jack, I'm fine, I'm an accountant." That doesn't really stand out too much, does it? No. One thing to consider, now this is a bit bold, but I don't care. Sometimes when I'm asked about myself, I might say, "I'm with the most wonderful lady in the world. I have 3 adult kids. They all live in the same county as me. I see them frequently. I have 5 lovely granddaughters, and I love being called Pap Pap." Yes. Or sometimes I might say, "I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm retired, and I'm ornery. Call me Happy Jack." So add a little flair to meeting new people so you sink in their memory a little bit more. Okay, do that. Consider doing that at least. So many times I've met so many people and they were not too exciting. Everybody in the world is a little bit different. It's okay to be a little bit unique or a little bit different when meeting people. You can get their name, what they do, and so forth later. Another thing about communicating and networking, if you get their business card, I like to write on the back of the business card something about them. This guy must be 6'6", he has a big beard, something about them. So the next time you talk to them, you look at that and bring that up. Or if they told you something. Or you might want to ask them, instead of, "What do you do for a living?" Because that'll come out in a conversation. You might want to ask them something different. Like, "Tell me about your favorite vacation." Or, "What's on your bucket list?" Or, "What are your pet peeves?" Try to get them thinking. Try to get them to talk about something that's exciting for them. They will want to talk to you, and that's building that relationship. Give them the opportunity. What sparks that person? Feed them, something like that. My girlfriend Donna, she is asked out for lunch by so many different ladies. Well, at least she tells me they're all ladies. Why? Why do people want to be around her? Because she asks questions. and she sincerely wants to know. She sincerely cares. And people love that. Before I retired, I would come home from work, and Donna would ask me, how was my day? And get this, she really wanted to know. She would ask me questions over and over. In the meantime, I go to the bathroom. Okay, give me a couple minutes. Yeah, who does that? Maybe we all should. Whenever you go someplace, you're a little bit nervous or whatever, you're afraid, but be brave. And my lovely girlfriend, who's in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the nicest lady in the whole wide world, or maybe she should be, she went to Alaska with her lovely daughter several years ago. Donna's afraid of heights. No, Donna is petrified of heights. Her daughter is a daredevil. Her daughter wanted to ride the highest and fastest zip line in the world and wanted her mom to do it. Woo! Donna said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But Donna thought about it. She didn't want to disappoint her lovely daughter. So she used her reasoning skills. She thought, we do safety inspections frequently on this. The cable never broke. No one ever got hurt. And there's tons of people that do it every single day. So she did it. She cried all the way up. She cried all the way down. And she'll probably never do that again. But she was afraid yet brave. So use that reasoning whenever you have the opportunity to meet somebody. Whether it's someone new at an event like this, networking, or wherever. It's an opportunity. Opportunity to have an acquaintance, maybe make a friend, maybe help with your career. Opportunity, not obligation. So it's okay to be afraid, but be brave. Brave. Go for it. If it doesn't work out, that's okay. But keep on doing that. And the more you do it, the more brave you will become. Whenever your brain releases dopamine, it kind of is like a parent giving you praise and encouragement to keep on going. And whenever your brain releases the oxytocin, that builds a relationship. So it's like, that's a double whammy. That's good stuff, man. Try it. That's great. Mother Nature's fantastic. So whenever you want to celebrate, you can celebrate with alcohol, but I don't recommend that. You can celebrate by giving a high five, giving a handshake. Handshake is very similar to the high five. That touch of the skin generates that oxytocin. But yeah, it's okay to shake hands, give high fives, and so forth. Don't miss the opportunity to shake hands to people that you see again and people that you just meet. Note, I did not say the word try. I didn't say try to lock minds, try to improve your nonverbal skills, try to have patience with people. No, all too often I feel try is a scapegoat. I tried. No, that doesn't cut it. Don't try, do. If you fail, think of the word flag, F-L-A-G. Fail, learn, adjust, go.
That's right.
Flag. Fail, learn, adjust, go. Eliminate the word try. No, I said eliminate the word try. I didn't say try to eliminate the word try. What did I just do? I was quiet. Whenever you're talking with people, it's okay to be quiet. Listen to what they are saying. Give them the opportunity to talk. Build their trust. Don't try to be impressive. Don't try to show them how smart you are. that you're a big shot. So don't be an eyesore. I did this. I know that. I know them. Yeah. I did that a long time ago. Yeah, I can do that better than you. No. Don't be an eyesore. People don't want to hear that. Please, be respectful of people. You're there to meet people, to learn, to network, or whatever the occasion is. Whenever I'm talking with people, I'm a public speaker, but in private conversations, I want to be the audience. I want to learn. Whenever I'm with a group of people and we're talking, oftentimes someone will say something. Ooh, I want to chime in. I got something to say. But somebody else butts in. And somebody else cuts them off. And then somebody else. Word in edgewise. I don't want to be rude and cut people off, but that happens to me all the time. Does that happen to anybody else out there? Yeah. See, a lot of heads nod. Yeah, good. So maybe 20 minutes later, finally there's a little opening. I can say what I want to say. But if I say it now, it's 20 minutes ago, I may say, why is this guy bringing it up now? It's tough. So try to be patient. Don't cut people off. Give them the opportunity to communicate. We all want to communicate. We all love to be heard. Give everybody that opportunity. Kids, co-workers, subordinates, anybody. People love to be heard. Give them that opportunity. I will leave you with my little rhyme. The most valuable asset we have is time. A key to a successful life is good communication. Reward small achievements with celebration. Listen. Ask questions. Focus on who you talk to. Don't try. Instead, do. I genuinely hope that you have taken a tidbit or two. I sincerely, taking your time, I sincerely say, thank you. One more moment. Don't be the eyesore. It's human nature. We want to pound our chest. Don't do that. Let people talk. Communicate with their minds and their emotions. Give them the opportunities. Thank you so much.
We sure do appreciate you, Jack. Unity, the power within. We know ourselves, we have confidence in ourselves, and we want to meet others. The power that happens when you do and you have results. Our third pillar is all about results. Knowledge without action changes nothing. Purpose must become action, and action becomes results. Results become legacy. Key points in this section of the results is focus on what matters. Take consistent action. Measure your progress. Create lasting impact. Leave something better than you found it, even if it's a smile. The goal is not simply to succeed. The goal is to help others succeed because you were there. We have our next speaker, and we have 4 more, and we have our finale of this wonderful day of learning inside out, power of unity and the power of results. We have Mr. Conrad Williams. With more than a decade of experience helping individuals and families navigate financial decisions, combined with his work as a financial advisor, business owner, and public speaker, he has seen firsthand how uncertainty impacts people's lives. His journey through economic challenges, hardship, roles, and retirement planning has taught him that lasting peace and stability are not found in circumstances alone, but in the results we create through purpose, preparation, and consistent action. Big hand of applause to Mr. Conrad Williams.
Question. What if the challenge you're facing today isn't happening to you? What if it's happening for you? Several years ago, life was good. I was part owner of a growing business. We had actually just signed the contract on the space next door. Business was expanding. We wanted to capitalize on a section of the population that was having an issue with losing their homes. So we had a mortgage modification business. We signed the lease, employed people in anticipation that we're going to get a flood of clients. Then 2008 happened. Those were the headlines. Banks failed, people lost jobs, some industries were turned upside down. What started as concerning, or this news headline, quickly appeared at our front door. We were forced to make decisions that we did not anticipate. At the time, my wife and I had rental properties. Not because we were chasing wealth. We were simply trying to prepare for the future. And real estate was one of the things that we were told that we should invest in. We did. Our tenants started losing their jobs. Mortgage payments, however, did not stop. You may ask today, so why did you continue to make the payments when you weren't getting any rent? We wanted to honor our obligation. We also, for you who live in the States, wanted to protect our credit, because we know we can't do anything without the credit. So here we were, month after month, having serious conversations. What should we do? Should we continue making these payments, even though there was no rent payment coming in? We decided to be people of integrity and honor our commitments. We tried and tried and tried until we could not try anymore. At the same time, we started losing customers. People became cautious. Opportunities started dwindling. And people who had money at the time, or some of our customers, started holding back on their money because they wanted to see what was going on. Most people have never had an experience like that. So we were forced to make that decision. The business closed. We laid off our employees. People who depended on us, people who trusted us, people who became like family. It's hard when you promise someone that, come and join me, we're expanding, and they gave up what they had before to come because they believe in what it is that you're trying to achieve. We felt terrible because most of the people who worked with us, there was someone else that was depending on them. Here it is, I'm concerned. What is going to happen? For me, instead of it being a financial crisis, it became something else. It became an identity crisis. Who am I? Am I a failure? Who am I if I can't provide for my family? Those questions haunted me. Because this is what I saw. I saw failure. I saw disappointment. And I started to feed into the negative that I didn't make the right decision. I should have seen it coming. I should have seen this. I should have seen that. Why did you expand so fast? Why did you buy those properties? Why didn't you just stay where you were? But staying safe has never done anything for me. Where I'm from, there's a saying, if you want good, your nose half a wrong. What does that mean? It means that if you want to achieve things, you have to make sacrifices. My dad would say to me, why did you do that? Why didn't you I have money in the bank. Why didn't you just do what I do? I said, Dad, I can't do what you do because you're losing money and you don't know that. But for him, he gets a statement, and the statement may be the same or could be a few dollars different. And he was okay with that. He's old school. Knowing what I know and what I'm teaching families, it never made any sense to do what my dad did. But when you're older, especially, I call it the butt wipe syndrome, when they wipe your butt, it's hard for you to tell them what to do. Some people accept it because they would say, well, I sent you to school, so you probably know more than I do. But that was not it for my dad. He's going to do it his way. He would ask, hey Ian, this is what I'm doing, what do you think? I said, Dad, that won't work. But he still went ahead and did it. And when it doesn't work out, then I need to fix it. That's how he operated. So he said, well, you should not have done that. That's okay. But failure, to me, is what I teach my kids is, that's okay. Everybody fails at some point. The issue with failure, guys, is if you roll over and play dead. That's true failure. I teach my kids, you never fail if you don't stop trying. I read some story years ago. It talked about some guy who had a gold mine, and the gold was so close, but he gave up. And that was back in the day. He sold all his equipment, invested all his money. Prior to doing that, he invested all his money, but he was so close, and he gave up. And the person who bought it didn't have to drill far to hit the vein. So I learned that, and this is what I took from it. You never give up. You continue trying. So we lost everything except our primary residence, because I always wanted to make sure that where I lay my head is protected. But as I said earlier today, guys, scared money don't make money. You have to have the money work harder for you than you work for it for yourself. Many nights I couldn't sleep. And I would quietly get dressed, jump in my car, and drive to Fort Lauderdale Beach. There was something about the sound of the waves. The beach became my counselor. My prayer room, it also became my wrestling ground. I would walk and I would think, what did you do? Why did you do that? Why did you do like everybody else? But then I realized, I'm not like everybody else. I want to be somebody, and I want to achieve for the next generation. I love Proverbs because Proverbs said, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. I've always heard that. But one day, it came to my mind and I had an epiphany. Not sure if you guys will get the same takeaway from this. But what I realize is when you're growing a family, you've got mortgage, you probably have car payments, you're taking care of the kids. You're all doing life together at that point. But by the time the kids are out of the house, it's now the grandkids' time. You should be in a better place financially where you're now able to help the grandkids. That is the epiphany for me. It wasn't about the kid that I was growing, it's about the one that's coming. So I wanted to make preparation for that so I can help not my immediate generation, but the next one that's coming. So I took those chances because I wanted to build something for them. After losing my business, I worked for an automotive online company. And I'm speaking to guys who the business have been in their generation, some of them 125 years, some of them 80 years, and that got me thinking. If they can invest and be in a business for 125 years, that is creating lasting legacy. So how can you learn about that and then you're okay with trying something that failed and you roll over and play dead? So that became a passion was ignited. I also was at church. They advertised this financial peace workshop. Most of you may have heard about it by Dave Ramsey. I did 13 weeks at church thinking that I'm going there to learn about money. What I didn't realize that I was going there learning because ultimately that was going to be my calling. Losing the business was one thing, but I wanted all the things I went through to have purpose. Because I think when you go through something, you're able to help someone or stop them from going through the same thing that you went through. So I went and did my 13 weeks, and every week I learned something more. Most people are not stupid. The issue is that they just don't get the information so that they can make the right decision for themselves. So I said to myself, if I can help them, then I can probably stop them from avoiding the pitfall that I went through. I went to work. Everyone asked me, do you have an insurance license? No. I never wanted to do that. Then somebody else asked me, do you have an insurance license? And the next and the next. People who don't know each other was asking me, do you have an insurance license? And I went home and I said, Lord, are you trying to tell me something? Years ago, I had the opportunity to actually do the class, but I didn't want to do the test because it wasn't something I was interested in. I wanted to be an advisor. But I didn't know that, well, that was part of it. I went online, found a place, did it, passed the state exam, and now what? A fellow Bahamian met with me, and we've been in partnership since. And he gave me an opportunity to join his financial services firm. He is part of my family. And the people we're helping, most of them have never heard what we talk about. And I think it's deliberate that people are not taught the information that should be readily available. Financial literacy should be taught in every school. Because we're teaching kids, go to college, get a job, they're going to get paid. Why don't we show them what to do with the money? I have never seen a paycheck with instruction, have you? So the problem is that they're earning an income, there's no instruction, and when you have it, all you're going to do is just spend it. Because most people think that when there's a problem, you just need to earn more, but you cannot out-earn the issue. Because the more money you earn is the more you spend. Because you don't have a relationship with it. So I remember going to the supermarket when my son was younger. And he would play with these toys and then he wanted it. And I said, okay, here's the cash, you pay for it. He said, Dad, I don't need it. Because it's hard to part with the cash. When you give the same person the card, there's no emotional connection to the card. They swipe the card. So it's not just my son who realized that. Marketing companies now realize that. So what they do, cashless, you have a card, you're going to swipe. So we're now in more debt than we were before because we just, here we go. Even though I don't want it, I want it because we can swipe for it. So guys, I'm telling you all this to say, we have to help people because if you have stability, things will be better. But when you're like this, kind of wishy-washy, unstable, then you find yourself in problems. So we're talking about stability. If the foundation is not stable, the house at some point is going to crumble. So when I'm meeting with people, I talk about a foundational house. I start with, a financial house. I start with the foundation and I work my way up. Because in any building, if you don't have a solid foundation, one storm, one heavy rain, your foundation may crack, and with the crack, that's where we have issues. So I want to help people to avoid that kind of crack. And I think if we do it, we teach them, you educate them how things work. People are not dumb. They're going to make the best decision for themselves once they have the information. But if they don't have the information, then they're going to believe everything you tell them. So I operate in a consultative way. I don't sell anyone anything, because if it's not good for you, that's okay. You don't have to take it. Or you don't have to do it with me, but I just let everyone know 65 is coming. We can't, as long as we're alive, we're going to get to 65, right? When you get to 65, you're going to retire, you're going to be on Social Security or something. But you need money, you need to prepare for the rainy day. You need to prepare for the storm. My job is to help you prepare for the storm, because it's going to come whether we want it, whether we believe it, yes or no. There's people here in the Bahamas who just had that experience. And because of the storm, they know. We are in, right now, hurricane season, so nobody knows what's going to happen. But if we don't prepare, when it comes, that's where the issue is. So my goal is to help people to prepare. Prepare for the storm before the storm arrives. Things with me got so tough, guys, that walking on that beach, I had some thoughts that I'm not proud of. And I said, if sharing those thoughts today can let someone see that don't listen to the negativity that's going on, don't roll over and play dead. Challenge yourself, because there's always three sides to everything I say. My side, your side, and the truth. But I walked on that beach night after night, and I'm thinking, my family probably would be better off if I wasn't here. But that would not solve the problem, because who's going to take care of my mom if I'm not here? At the time, she was okay. Now she's 83, early stage of dementia. Who is going to take care of her? I'm the only one that's coming because I'm the only child. So I look on that picture and I say to each and every one of you here today, it doesn't matter what it is that you're going through. Seek counsel. Stop. Think about it, because it can't be that bad that you want to end it. Because if I didn't have people that were depending on me, I probably would have. And I'm not proud to say that. And honestly, I'm not even ashamed to say that. Because the goal is, you never know what somebody else is going through. There are people who are smiling in public, but in private, you don't know the weight that they're carrying. So I wanted to share what I went through to say, you too can come on the other side. We all have scars, because we've all been through something. hear economic uncertainty, but if you don't quit, you don't fail. Bahamian people are resilient. You guys have faced a lot, but you don't give up. You're always rising. Because, what does your motto say? Onward, forward, together. Ladies and gentlemen.
That should be our theme next year, don't you think? It's giving me ideas, and I love that phrase. Now we'll go with the power within, the power of unity, and the power of results. Our next speaker is Dr. Tamisha Walker. Dr. Tamisha is a maternal health systems strategist, global peace ambassador, and founder of Heart for the Hopeless. Through innovative leadership, workforce development, and cross-sector collaboration, she helps organizations create measurable outcomes, strengthen communities, and improve the effectiveness of health and human services systems. We should appreciate her. Give a big round of applause for Dr. Tamisha Walker.
In a world without limits, where would you be? In spite of hypocrisy, alienation, or delay, even disappointment, and doors that do not open, where would you be? Only you can answer that question. Only you can decide whether your ideal will remain as a thought or become a measurable birth result. Dignitaries and leaders, I stand before you with one assignment: to set the pace, to help you finish the ultimate goal, not merely start it, not merely have a discussion, but finish it. For more than 2 decades, I have learned that the distance between a compelling idea and a completed result is rarely found in just a thought. You may open your mouth and give voice to it, but determination, focused execution, refusing to give procrastination authority, that's what gets it done. And today is your day. We are building a process that can take you to your next level. This is your space to accomplish a future, the one you dreamed of, wept of, and prayed for, and still desire. If you are ready for a challenge that will shake your beliefs and take your excuses and rock you to your core, if you're ready to get to work, now is the time. I am ready to take you beyond your current capacity and charge you with fulfilling your belief. Here's how we're going to do this. We're setting a pace. Our pace, while you're at the gate, is going to start just like this and keep you from negotiating with delay. Think of the Kentucky Derby. In this space, you have decision, determination, disciplined action, and finished results. In order for us to get to this space, you must remember and ask yourself the question: in spite of delay and disappointment and doors that we spoke of that did not open, where would you be? Thinking of the Kentucky Derby, if you were to be a horse in that race, you would think of the race, the speed, what it is you wanted to accomplish, what would be your goal. You wouldn't enter the gate to wonder and hope only, but to focus, to know what you want to accomplish. Since, as you see here, a thoroughbred racer, let me bring in Bohemian Pirate. He was a veteran sprinter. That was absolutely amazing. He was a 9-year-old thoroughbred that wasn't purchased for millions of dollars, as so many of the horses in that type of race are. The Kentucky Derby is a high-stakes race. He was purchased for mere thousands. Now, some people say we're counted out because maybe it's taken us a little longer to get the things done that we wanted to do. Maybe we didn't get there as quickly as we thought we could. Maybe even our strongest season has passed us by already. But no. As we saw even with him, even though he went through many challenges, even though he had many trials, even though he even fell off of his game and was purely counted out, he came back to be a winner. A winner against all odds. Not even that. His trainer was the first African American trainer to bring a thoroughbred of this caliber to the Kentucky Derby and win. Yes, he won. When everyone counted him out, Larry Demerit, a Bahamian who at the age of 27 became the first and Canadian trainer to actually qualify, of course, for the Kentucky Derby. Now, he not only did this, but he had a myriad of medical challenges that met him along the way. So just like for us, when we have struggles, when we have trials, when we seem to hit a brick wall and everyone else says that we are unable to accomplish it, understand you can be the embodiment of increased productivity and have a true mountaintop experience. What you need to do is make sure you fix your eyes on the finish line, that you move from delay to decision, and that you measure the standards you intend to reach. It helps you to move forward with your goal. In order for us to do that, you have to make sure that you write the vision and you make it plain. As it says in Habakkuk 2:2, you must write it down. Have it on the tablet so that others can look at it and be able to run when they read it. Run to accomplish it. Run to get it done so that you're not lost in the process, but you know exactly where you're going and you get clear on what it is that you want to do and how to succeed. Here is how we're going to make that happen. Ask yourself these questions. What do I see, hear, feel, and experience when the goal is complete? Be positively clear about what you're going to have at the end of your accomplishment. What does this accomplishment mean to me emotionally, spiritually, professionally, and strategically? We're moving forward out of the gate with a positive goal and process. And finally, who is affected if I keep delaying my completion? For me, I knew that if I did not continue to move forward in my work at a timely pace, that there would be more mothers that would die, that there would be more children that wouldn't see their first birthdays. I understood that there was an impact to my decision to not move quickly to accomplish the goal and purpose of my life. Your goal becomes a defined future with meaning, consequences, and a finish line. I decided that my lack of movement and clarity would not be the determinant for another person to be lost in this world. I knew that I could make a difference, and I decided that today would be the day that I made that change. Busyness is not the birth result that you get just by doing things. You want productivity. True productivity doesn't look like meetings, emails, intentions, and making sure that you have announcements. Just because you say this is what you're going to do, just because you read that email or got that special email, doesn't mean that you are actually producing what needs to be done to get you to your end result. We want actual results. So it looks more like the decision being made, the proposal submitted, the system improved, and the people strengthened. We have to make sure that we're enduring this race and creating birth results that are actually showing completion in a measurable form. So let's look into how we can continue to produce this. There are 3 things that you have available to you. This is what I want you, as you prepare to lock into the gate, to truly run your race. The first one is prepare. We're doing that right now with clarifying your results. Number 2 is to practice. This is where you get a chance to build your capacity, to expand who you are and what you do. Then there is produce. And this portion is where you're able to execute under real conditions. That's what we're doing here and today. You made a decision and you made a choice that you wanted to grow, you wanted to learn, you wanted to do more. That's what landed you here, right now, this day. Vision without disciplined execution becomes just another abandoned dream. And that, of course, is not what we're here for today. This is why I teach the birth results as a productivity method. To be courageous, ignited, rooted, tenacious, and healed. When it comes to being courageous, to birth a new level of existence, you must be courageous enough to confront when you are not who you pretend to be. Every unfinished decision, limiting habit, resulting fears, or outdated systems, or comfortable pace setting that's keeping you back from where you're supposed to be, you have to make a change. You have to break that and move truth into deadline. So, what you're going to do is to move courageously and confront what is keeping you from completing what it is you're supposed to do. Next, we have the I of ignited. Say that with me. I ignited.
Ignited.
This is where you are focusing the fire of what you do with truth, attention, and action. It's where when you see your limiting beliefs that have come up in the moments of courageous action, you have now decided that I am going to set that ablaze. I'm no longer going to let it keep me from doing what I need to accomplish my goal. I'm going to press through it, and I'm going to ignite my mind to understand that the focus I have on my goal is what I will do. It's how I will perform. It's how I will accomplish each and every goal that I have set before me. This is where you are able to learn and work through the RAS. It is your reticular activating system. It is what allows you to clarify, to focus, and to pick out those things that are specifically important to you to accomplish your goal and hone your skills. Working forward in disciplined action. It's what allows you to give attention and helps your cues to become visible, to do execution, and it still helps you with each of those skills that you saw that were important for accomplishing your goal. It's no longer just the things that you list out, but it's what now becomes sharp in the front of your mind for each thing that you need to accomplish. Next we have R. Say it with me. R. Root. It is where you are rooted and grounded in who you are. It's where you realize your purpose. You take the stage. You stand in what you have been called to do. No matter what the winds may come, no matter what the storms that may blow, you're not shifted from what you are called to do. There's so many things that come up as you walk, as you grow, as you learn, as you heal. Rootedness returns the mind to purpose without surrendering identity. When progress flows, rootedness helps you to adjust. That you don't abandon the mission, but you're able to keep going. By placing roots on the calendar, you're able to schedule birth blocks that help you. Scheduling 45 to 90 minutes for results in your work. It's where you silence the interruptions and decide to complete one meaningful unit of progress during that time. Next we have, say it with me, T. Tenacity. It is disciplined continuity. It's where you're not frantic with activities, so you haven't put so much on your calendar that you're just busy doing what not is really needed to accomplish your goal. But you're able to apply your knowledge, skills, effort, pace, and timing. Pride lengthens the journey, but humility helps you to shorten the distance between effort and outcome. This is where you as a tenacious leader can run toward the path of what you need to do and how you want to accomplish it, but you remember that it's important that as a leader, you are still humble and you are receiving leadership from others. You're leading from the front and from the back and from the sides. You're coming along with those that are working with you. It is important that you keep a sustained effort and you ask yourself, what must I finish and what evidence will prove that the progress has occurred? H, say it with me. H, heal. This is due to the fact that what we find as we move forward in this journey is that not only others are healed and helped by the work that we do, but we need the healing as well. It's being aware of who you are, what is acceptable and necessary for you to grow and to move forward through your challenges, but understanding that even as you are helping others to heal and recover, we need to do the same thing. It's important for us to go further, faster, that we care for not only them, but ourselves and those that are helping us to accomplish the mission as well. A framework changes nothing until it changes the calendar. So increased productivity, as we talked about, is beautiful with a specific rhythm. When you look at a 90-day goal, a weekly, a daily, and a Friday or one-day review, where you have a primary question you are asking yourself. Did you complete what you set out to do? Is there evidence that goes along with it to show that measurable impact? And what adjustments do you need to make to ensure that it happens? For myself, I noticed this as I work with so many different entities. Whether it is dealing with Heart for the Hopeless, where I have an opportunity to impact mothers around the world. We have been on stages here in the U.S., as well as in Nigeria, as well as talking to moms in Liberia, having the honor and opportunity to bring to them the Moms Matters conference. Say it with me, Moms Matter. If you believe that, and if you have seen challenges in your world, I would encourage you to remember that your impact every single day that you take a time and a moment to look at a mom and to say, you matter. I care about you. When you pick up the phone, if you still can, and call your mom and say, I love you. You matter. I care about you. We're able to bring those conferences to moms where we not only said that, but we trained them. We taught them how to be not only advocates for themselves, but for other moms in their community. Because of that impact, I've had the opportunity to see mothers stand up for themselves in the labor rooms and live to see another day, as well as their children. I've seen them not only do that in their own homes, but then also with their neighbors, and therefore affecting their communities, and then shifting what is happening in their surrounding neighborhoods and governments. We each matter. So each of the things that we do to accomplish these goals makes a difference. As I said, with the work that we do with Moms Matters Conference, there's also another organization that I love so deeply, which is the Darius D. Walker Golden Kidney Foundation for Life, named after my amazing son, Darius, who was given no hope at birth, but is now 15 years old. I thank God for what he has done in his life. He is a true pacifist for birth results and what I've done in my life. We are able to assist families all over the world with kidney issues. Families that have gone through the same things that we have. What I found to be true, and as I wrote in one of my first books, Purpose in Pain, was that it wasn't about our family and just what I was going through. The struggles, the pains, almost passing out, being readmitted to hospitals because I was pouring so much into someone who needed so much to live. But it was, who am I going through this for? Who else could I impact? What other lives could I help to save or change? Because I didn't make it just about me, but I took my life purpose. I took the goals and I took the struggles that I was enduring to help someone else. So once you have your birth system and pace together, you want to realize that by the end of this set, you want to have 3 high-value actions that are performed. They're much more helpful to your goal than 20 disconnected tasks. Find your focus. Set your pace. It will get you moving forward much faster than anything else that you can do. You are now at the control gate, so we have set the pace for you. You are now able to understand what it means to fill your goal, to find your goal, and to move quickly towards it. You cannot wait. There are lives literally waiting for you. Once you're able to measure what you have birthed out, then you can not only request for there to be support, because you sharing your purpose and your goal, it opens the door. But what keeps it open is showing the measurable evidence that is available for others to see exactly what you are doing. It becomes personal, as I shared, through your life, through the challenges, through the advantages, through the things that you struggle through, but that you complete. Your productivity matters. So I put to you a mountaintop challenge. We've now set the pace. You've gotten into the gate. You are ready to win this race. Will you stop all of the distractions that keep you from moving forward? Will you not allow them to challenge you? But will you say, with every calculated yes, a truly calculated no as well, to those things that want to stop you as you are moving forward? It's about accomplishing your goal. It's about finishing your race. But it's about finishing it fast at this new excellent pace. But also finishing it well and in excellence. This is your time to birth. So I challenge you today. Don't just think about it. Don't let it be a foggy thought in your mind. Don't let it just be a smoke open dream. But let it truly be a race that you run through every challenge, through every storm, through every pain. Let it be a birth result that you finish with excellence. Say, I will birth in excellence now. Thank you.
Purpose. Power within, power unity, and power results. Purpose. Everyone together to shine and have those results. Thank you so very much, Dr. Tamisha Walker from Ohio. We have 2 more speakers. We have Dr. Douglas McCall. He's delivered professional development workshops, conference presentations, SHRM programs, that's with HR, and wrote keynote addresses. His PhD research examined identity and innovation, providing a strong and scholarly foundation for helping individuals align who they are and how they show up. Let's show up. Dr. Douglas McCall.
Close your eyes. Imagine you're walking down a familiar road. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, and a breeze takes the edge off the afternoon. In the distance, you see a mango tree. As you draw closer, you see the branches stretch out into the sky, bright reds, yellows, oranges, and greens hang from every branch. You slow your pace, and you stand under it to behold its beauty. Imagine that tree. As you imagine that tree, what comes to mind first? Excellent. I hear a lot of wonderful answers, and clearly some folks that were at my earlier presentation. But what I don't hear is anybody mentioning soil. I don't hear anybody mentioning roots either. And that's normal. You haven't failed this test. You're all right. But we notice the fruit because it's what we can see. The fruit, the results, the successes. We hear professional musicians play, and we forget about the thousands of hours they spend practicing alone. We watch elite athletes on the world stages and lose sight of the years of training it took for them to get there. We celebrate successful entrepreneurs and completely forget the failures, the empty bank accounts, the false starts that got them to that success. Today we've been honored to hear speakers talk about the power within, the power of unity, and the power of results. I'd like to suggest that empowerment grows from these ideas, because empowerment is not the beginning of the journey. It's the result of everything that happens beneath. Today, I'd like to take you beneath. Because if we're going to understand the fruit of empowerment, then we have to understand what happens beneath the soil. As a young teacher, I was navigating many new responsibilities. And like many young professionals, I sought out an experienced mentor to guide me along. We talked about where I was successful and where I could continue to grow. I trusted their advice and took it as seasoned wisdom. They offered me suggestions on everything, from curriculum planning to dealing with the district administration. I accepted their counsel without any thought of how it aligned up with my values or who I wanted to be as a teacher. Looking back, I realized that they had actually become quite jaded about education and fairly skeptical about our district administration. I found myself playing it safe, staying within the walls of my classroom, and treating administrators with unnecessary caution. In hindsight, I probably limited my early career success because of those choices. Only years later did I realize what had happened. It wasn't that my mentor was deliberately holding me back, but they were sharing the profession through the lens of their own experience. And because I didn't think about their positionality, I adopted many of their limitations. Which got me thinking about mango tree. A mango seed requires several conditions. Well-drained soil, good nutrients, just the right pH balance. If any of these are missing, a healthy seed will fail to take root. Why? Because where the seed is planted matters. Healthy soil provides good nutrients. It allows the seed to grow. We are much the same way. As Lev Vygotsky observed, through others, we become ourselves. While empowerment is ultimately something we achieve ourselves, the people around us will often determine whether our strengths are capitalized on or constrained. Few of us reach our potential in isolation. And as we think through those folks, we have to decide how they're going to help us move forward. Are they going to encourage us when we reach obstacles? Are they going to challenge us when we give less than our full potential? Are they going to push us forward and help us remember who we are in case we've forgotten? At the same time, not all people deserve the same voice. Some people, like my mentor, will be unintentionally holding us back. As Jim Rohn famously said, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Which begs the question, who's influencing the quality of your soil? Are there people in your circle that are negatively influencing your pH balance? Who are the people that are providing you with the rich nutrients? And who waters you with encouragement without drowning you in dependence? A healthy seed planted in poor soil struggles to take root. But a healthy seed planted in rich soil has a much stronger chance of becoming a mature tree. Healthy soil creates possibility. But possibility isn't enough. When I was in my late 20s, I had a young family, 2 kids, and not a whole lot of money. I decided that it would be a good idea for me to become a school principal. That's stability. So I went back to school and I got a second master's degree. I filled out application after application. I prepped myself for every question I thought a young administrator should be able to answer. I went off to interview after interview, wearing a suit, carrying a portfolio, convinced I was ready. And I was rejected. Not once, not twice, but 70 times. One interview in particular stays with me. I was standing in front of a familiar panel, stern faces, neatly stacked resumes. They fired questions at me and I returned them like a seasoned tennis pro. Until they asked me, what would your staff say about you after a long work week? My script collapsed because the honest answer wasn't in my notes. As I drove home, I began to realize something I'd been ignoring. The interviews weren't authentic. I wasn't showing up as myself. And everyone in the interview room could see it, except for me. That realization hurt, but it also freed me. Because once I stopped trying to be someone I thought I was supposed to be, I could start being the person I truly knew I was supposed to be. The roots of a tree are like identity, and they ground us when life situations get difficult. When a mango seed is planted, 2 things happen. A small shoot goes up toward the light, and a taproot drives deep into the earth. Both are essential, but the tree focuses first on what can't be seen. The taproot becomes the tree's anchor. It draws nutrients and water from the ground. Later, lateral roots shoot out under the ground in all directions, supporting the canopy above. Finally, surface roots appear that become the visible expression of all the growth that's going on underneath. I believe that identity is much the same way. Our core identity is our taproot. It is the deepest part of who we are, our values, beliefs, and convictions that remain steady throughout life circumstances. The lateral roots are the way our identity shows up in all of life's situations, career, responsibilities, relationships. And the surface roots are the parts of us that the world sees first. Problems arise when those root systems become disconnected. When who we are to the world, who we show out as, isn't connected to our core identity, we become unstable. We may seem successful for a time, but eventually that disconnect weakens and disconnects us from our core. I believe that's what happened in those interviews. My administrator identity had nothing to do with who I knew myself to be at core. So how do we fix that problem? I believe it starts when we stop asking the question, what should I do? and start asking the question, who am I? Or who do I want to be? When who we are, how we think, and how we show up all point in the same direction, our root system is healthy and working together. The clarity of our identity gives us direction. But it doesn't move us forward. Eventually, we all have to answer the same question. Now what? In my late 30s, I had an unexpected experience. I had just completed some training to become a coach and mentor, and as I continued learning, I became fascinated by another opportunity: speaking. So I joined Toastmasters, thinking it would help me become a better communicator. And it did. But it did something far more valuable, moved me in a new direction. Years of theater, vocal performance, and time spent in the classroom had given me a good foundation. But in Toastmasters, I found a community, honest feedback, and a place to grow. About the same time, I was completing personality assessments, realizing my strengths, and digging deeper into my own identity. And I found something out. At my core, I wasn't just a teacher in a classroom. I was a speaker standing on a stage. For the first time in my life, I finally admitted it. But admitting it wasn't enough. Instead of following that calling, I went a different direction. Got my PhD, became a college professor, another teacher, and spent years developing a career that fit my abilities, even if it didn't line up with who I knew myself to be. Then last year, I made a different choice. I stopped waiting for someone else to tell me I was ready. I joined the National Speakers Association. I started booking keynotes. I stopped waiting for permission. I started taking responsibility. And that's when opportunities began to appear. Not because I became more talented, not because my identity shifted, but because I started taking action. That's agency. Every day, we are confronted with opportunities, obstacles, decisions, and difficulties. Our support system can't make those decisions for us. Our identity can't make the decisions for us. Ultimately, we must choose to act. Agency is what happens when identity stops being theory and starts becoming behavior. Let's go back to our mango tree. Healthy soil creates nutrients. Strong roots absorb those nutrients. But until those nutrients pass through the trunk, neither the soil nor the roots can produce a tree. The trunk doesn't create the nutrients, the soil does that. The trunk doesn't absorb the nutrients, the roots do that. Yet without the soil, without the trunk, the soil or the roots cannot express their full potential. The same is true of us. As Epictetus observed, it's not what happens to us, but how we react to it that matters. That's the essence of agency. Two people can have similar backgrounds, similar support systems, even similar identities, yet achieve completely different results. The reason isn't usually in what they think. It has to do with the choices that they make and the actions that they choose. I used to think that empowerment was the goal. As it turns out, empowerment is simply what healthy trees produce. When a mango seed is planted, it does not immediately shoot up and produce fruit. First, it spends a year developing a root system. Over time, the trunk expands, the branches grow, the canopy grows. Only after years does it begin to flower. And even though its thousands of blossoms appear, only a small percentage will become fruit. Early harvests are modest. It takes patience, time, and continued growth for that tree to mature and produce fruit in abundance. Empowerment grows much the same way. Most empowered people, surprisingly enough, don't just wake up one morning feeling empowered. Think about something you can do today that you couldn't do 10 years ago. Chances are it didn't happen overnight. You took a step, survived it, and took another. Over time and repetition, you begin to trust your ability to influence your circumstances. That's how empowerment grows. When healthy soil, strong roots, and a sturdy trunk work together, empowerment becomes the fruit. And like the fruit of a mango tree, it develops gradually. It often goes unnoticed at first. Over time, it becomes increasingly visible in the way that we approach obstacles, pursue opportunities, and influence the lives of others. Let's go back to our mango tree. When first we encountered it, we noticed the fruit. That's normal. Fruit is what we can see. But now we know that fruit is not the beginning of the journey. The journey starts deep below the surface. It starts with healthy soil. It continues through strong roots, and it grows through a sturdy trunk. The same is true of us. Healthy soil is found in the people who encourage, challenge, and help us grow. Strong roots are found in an identity that is constant through all life circumstances. And a sturdy trunk develops through the daily decisions to act in alignment with that identity. When support systems, identity, and agency all work together, empowerment becomes the fruit. So, let me ask you a question. Are you disappointed in the quality of your fruit while ignoring the condition of your tree? Think about it. How many of you know a gardener who spends their whole day staring at fruit? Probably none. Because gardeners don't grow fruit. They cultivate the conditions where fruit can happen. They enrich the soil. They protect the roots. They strengthen the tree. And they trust the fruit to come. And perhaps that's the invitation for us today. If your soil needs attention, think about the people in your circle and make sure they're enriching you. If your roots need strengthening, take time and energy to clarify who you are in your core. If your trunk is weakened by fear, doubt, or indecision, commit to taking the next step, even if it's a small one. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is growth, because growth is what produces fruit. As I close, think about our fruit tree, our mango tree, one more time. As people pass by, they appreciate the fruit. They enjoy its shade. They benefit from everything it provides. Most of them will never give a second thought to what happened to make that all possible. But you know different. You know that empowerment is simply the visible expression of everything that's been going on beneath it. So tend your soil. Strengthen your roots. Grow your trunk. And trust that the fruit will come. The fruit may be what the world notices, but the strength was always beneath it.
Thank you, Dr. Douglas McCall. How do you know that mangoes are my favorite fruits? That's amazing. is Christine Campbell. Distinguished Toastmaster Christine Campbell is a keynote speaker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Superior Speakers Bureau, and co-founder of Superior Speakers Advanced Toastmasters Club. With more than 45 years of experience in communications, leadership, public relations, marketing, broadcasting, and event development, she has dedicated her entire career to helping individuals discover their potential, finding their voice, and create meaningful impact. As creator of the SSB Bahamas Unity and Heritage International Festival, she's passionate about bringing people together, bringing stronger communities, and helping others discover what it is still possible for them. Please welcome Christine Campbell.
I was probably about 7 years old. And I had a little sister that's 4 years younger than I. And we always had a blast every day. I was the creative one. I would go out and make sure that we had fun things to do to keep her happy. Boy, some of our adventures. One was, we were going to take the shiny rocks into the ditch. Because when they're underwater, they sparkle. And we're going to make a tent, a good tent. I would get our blankets, put it over the 3-pronged rope, and hanging. I'm trying to think of the thing. But to dry our clothes. So anyway, I had the blankets all the way over it. And then I took Mom's knife and I'd stick it in the ground so that it stayed. And then there was another blanket that I'd put in the middle. And then we had our aunts. Neighbor kids would come over. We said, we got magic rocks. You want to look at it? And make a wish. And we did that. We charged a nickel. They knew how to get nickels. So they would come in, my sister would take the money and I was back with the magic rocks, stirring that beautiful water, making them sparkle. They'd come in and I would tell them a tale. I would say, rocks are just normal. They see how they sparkle? They found you. They've been waiting for you to be their friend. Do you have a nickel? And it worked. There was another time that I know everything, right? Because I'm young, I have no supervision at all, and we're off on a journey every day. But the grocery store was just a block away. So we'd walk down there. I had a little bit of nickels, and we went to the vegetable thing. I said, let's do this. Let's go get him. It was my older brother and sister's fort they made underground, and they had a place to put fire. I said, let's cook some lunch. And so I went and saw vegetables I never saw before. Let's get those. Those are going to be so good. And we did. But I'll tell you what, Brussels sprouts, when they're on fire, they don't smell good. We got out of there so much. And it was something where it was fun. We explored. We experimented. One other tale I'm almost not sure to tell, but why not? We're kids. Another thing, the neighbor kids would come home. What are we going to do today? We're going to play hospital. Wow, that's so cool. I got lots of Band-Aids. I took my mother's sanitary napkins, pulled those layers apart, and we had Band-Aids all over the place. I could stick right on them, and they would go home thinking they're cured. I didn't do anything personally, but maybe my mom did. We were loose. We were free. In the middle of the night, I would get up and walk around the block. I went to bed when I wanted to. I loved it. I loved the moon when it was full. I would feel like, wow, I'm just like an Indian out here. And I have this connection with the moon, with the sun. I also had a tendency to like horses. And so the neighbor's yard had a horse in their acre, and I did have a tendency to try to jump on it, and it didn't work. When I landed right in the flank really hard because I thought it was going to lift me up, and I just see this hook right in my face, I didn't do that again. But my sister watched. At nighttime, I put my little arm around her and I said, guess what, Brenda? We are going to grow up and we're going to do so amazing things. Have a big house, we'll have a big job, and we'll have our own car. And this visualization started. Why was I in that circumstance? My mother had very severe depression. After 8 kids in 13 years, and my father leaving her for someone else, she kind of went away from us. She went to a mental hospital, had shock treatments, came back and she wasn't there. She'd be in her bedroom or sitting in a corner. So we had to make some happen. Now, one thing I love to do, she would laugh once in a while when I did some funny things. One time I thought I was the best cake decorator in the world, and these are just kids doing stuff. And I said, how good my cake is, and I spun around and flopped right on the floor. Wow, it's worth to see her laugh like anything. We sure tried. One thing is I learned from this is that even though there was negative things said about us, we lived in an unkept home because we're kids. And we didn't have supervision, but we're kids and we had good things. We're not doing bad things, we're doing fun things. But when someone said, you live in a pigsty, okay, my room was always clean after that. Nobody knew that. I would babysit for others, and I would hear other things. Your house is falling apart. You know, kids don't need to hear that. But it didn't bother me because I was going to grow up and have my big house. My little sister dreamed with that with me. What's interesting is that challenging and change in your entire life, as even my own stepmother said when I learned to play fiddle, and really good, you play a squeaky fiddle. You're never going to amount to anything. You're going to be on drugs. Okay. What happened to me was I felt my bubble burst bigger and bigger, fluffier. And no one could tell me that I wasn't good. I wasn't okay. In fact, one time I had really long hair, and I had my older sister come and visit us. She put ringlets in my hair. I'm a little girl. And I had to walk down the neighborhood and let them know, knock on the doors and let them know how pretty it was. There was one lady, and then I thought I was pretty important. I had a word to say. I was visiting some friends, and we're little kids, at one lady's house, and she got mad at somebody and made them go home. Well, I went home, and I just started getting really furious, getting my hands all in a knot and curled up. I thought I'm going to tell her something. I go walking over to her house, banging on her door. Mrs. Wilkes, yes, can I help you? You're mean. You're just so mean. And I started to cry because I never did that before. And I didn't like what I did. She hugged me. She goes, sometimes we have to make choices we don't approve of and don't like. But through my freedom, our neighbors are great. My next door neighbor taught me how to make clothes in 5th grade, so I didn't have to get laughed at for my hand-me-downs. And what was great about that, it gave me creativity. That sewing machine was another second friend of mine. My fiddle, I loved it, I lived it, and when I would go practice outside because the house didn't like me inside, the neighbors made sure that they let me know, don't practice out here. Okay. I loved having the door open in my living room, and there was a great big piano, an old-fashioned one. And when I wanted to let everybody know in the neighborhood down the street that I was doing some good music, I'd play Thunderstorms. Boom, boom, tinkle, 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 boom, boom, woo, woo. And it made me just feel good. I had a voice. I'm a little kid. What that did to me is that it made me want to go on no matter what anybody says to me at all. When I was 15 years old, I bought a car, paid cash, of course. I like clothes, and I bought a coat to go with every dress, every pantsuit that I made. You know, it was just the way it was. But when I went to go and apply for a junior Miss pageant,
I was laughed at. My own family. They go, you're gonna do what? That's not like people dress. I had 2 jobs. I had a car. You bet I can do it. I'm independent. And so I went ahead and I prepared with books on my head. I could run with books on my head. I sewed and designed my own gowns, all the clothes there, played my fiddle. I went knocking around on doors so I could find a band to back me up. And even the television station filmed me and the Railroad Pacific because it was the Orange Blossom Special, my favorite. And so on pageant night, well, besides the cute escort I chose from school, we went ahead and did our routines. You walk around and you'll praise your music. My Fair Lady, I felt like a princess. And I didn't mess up like the other girls did. I was just right on focus. We played our fiddles, others danced, others played piano. And then everything happened at the end, and I'm just glad to be there. I say, I'm so glad. I know she's going to win, she's going to win this. I had it all figured out. And even on the judge's interview, it's 50% of the points. When I went into that, I was rushing home from work in my car, had my work outfit on because I was late, because I needed to get paid. I needed to end at the right time they wanted me to. And I walk in, these girls are in fancy business suits, entourage all around them. I'm there for business. I walk in and there's room around this table of people I didn't even know, and they're asking me questions. What do you do? Well, I work 2 jobs. I take care of my little sister. And I sew my clothes, and my talent's going to be fiddle. But I did get a TV station to do something for me. And pageant night, it was wonderful when they said, not expecting it, well, you, and all of you, we have some awards to give out. We have the talent. We have our dancer, and we have our fiddle player. They tied. So good. I really enjoyed it. Well, then, we had physical fitness. So-and-so got that. And then we had Miss Congeniality. Someone else got that. And I'm ready to just go for it. To say, welcome, congratulations, let me get home. I got to get up early so I can go to school. And they say, right now, Idaho Falls Junior Miss is Christine Campbell, or Christine Peterson. And let me tell you what happened. I about fell. My escort did touch me. He had to pick me up. But this is important to know that when you believe in yourself, no matter what anybody says about you, you can make a difference with your life. You can get up. You can walk up. You can move forward with your dreams and goals. In fact, that made me a rocket ship. I had dreams and goals. And I wanted to include vision. Because if you don't visualize your goals or your dreams or anything, what you have? I can't say you have a crown that you were born with, and it has always been with you. I need you all to think about that. And I challenge you to find your crown, put it on your head, walk tall, and start those dreams. Now what that did, it got me through my life. All kinds of wonderful things, and it taught me vision. I cannot say that I've done a lot of wonderful things, but when I see it, when I feel it, I can't stop. I have to finish it. And that's a beautiful thing. I wanted kids so much, because I wanted to be a mom, to have 8 kids, and be able to say, okay, I'm a mom where I will be a good mom. They will have me all the time. And I will have rules, because I wanted someone that didn't care if I went to bed or not. All of that mattered a way of caring. And what happened with my little sister when I left, she was devastated. I had to take care of myself when, as a, not quite 18, but to go ahead and start with my life. There was some complications. And it was okay. I didn't want to be depressed.
sister was like that. I had two other sisters like that. I was 7 sisters. That's how it was. But my mother was a school teacher before all that happened. She was a dancer. She was absolutely amazing. So that's the mom I remembered. And then I moved away for 20 years. Just so that I could be in my own healthy world, because I didn't understand that. Now I do now, learning and growing with my little sister, that sometimes you can't get it out of your mind. My thing is, if you get it out of your mind, then you become somebody else. In a good way, you can create your future self. Just moving forward. And I'm still working with, and she's doing better, but it's hard. But I'm not her, I'm not in her shoes. I do know empathy. When people are stuck, I do know that empathy. Another thing that really helped me was after having my children, living to Nashville, and experiencing the music industry, it was wonderful. And then knowing that it's not going to last, the marriage. I didn't want the kids to see anything negative around them in a negative environment. And it was the best thing I ever did, to find my freedom when I lost it. I gave it away. And the one thing is that it's important to know, never give your freedom away, who you are inside. The most important thought is that your value, your worthiness, you have a crown. And wearing that. And when I learned to have my freedom back, wear my crown, I soared. There were so many wonderful things my kids got to do in my life and in their life too. But one thing we learned is that every night before they went to bed, we would have a lesson. And the lesson brings home about your vision and what you can do to make a positive difference. One particular one was, how do you lead your millions? What? When you leave your millions, if you calculate back in the 70s, they did this, by the time you were 30, you were married with 3 kids. That was just the norm where I lived. And by the time they're 30 and have 3 kids, and it goes on, if you count for 300 years, do the math sometime. I did it, and I did it in front of them again. But there's over 1 million descendants if you count the spouses and all those additions. That's powerful. How can you today lead your millions? Get up instead of fall down. Move forward instead of regress backwards. This happened to me. This happened to me. This happened to me. Move forward and say, I'm striving. Oh, look at that. Oh, I want to do that. I have my goals on 120. I mean, they're solid. My poor husband, he has them too, but he's moving so well. When I had this instilled with me for my survival, all I wanted to do was instill in my kids how worthy they are. And they are. They don't know how to go because I never showed them. I never showed them you get depressed and you fall apart. I showed them, let's find solutions. They'd be lined up. It's nighttime right before bed. I got some things I need you to help me with. I got this business plan. And let's hear your inputs. And I don't care how old they were. They loved raising their hand and giving their input. And I even turned to the point to where the value of responsibility, I had little blue books. And I only were blue notebooks, but I had charts every day. If they do these things every day, and I didn't have a lot of money, a penny per thing. They brush their teeth, they get a penny. They read a book, they get a penny. And it was just on their age level and what I could afford. But what happened is that they learned a penny saved is a penny earned. And the beautiful part about that is that they're self-sufficient. I'm so proud of them. And I don't know if it was me that did stuff, but I do know I created an environment. When they were home, I was home. When they came home from school, after school, and into teenage life, I was home. My business, I made sure was in my home, and I chose radio, broadcast, with my own studio. And it was a lot of work. When 2008 happened, everything fell apart. I lost everything. My kids, we had a beautiful home, but that's okay. It's material things. The fact is we have our crown, right? Our crown can get us through anything. And what I did with that is I taught my kids, okay, we're going to go back and work. We're going to make things work out. And they have, on their own. All college educated because what I taught them,
you go to college, and that's what I did when I divorced your dad. I went right to college to show this is what you do. I was in even intramural basketball so I could show my son this is what you do. I took track and field so they can see me, my little short legs. This is what guys do. And now my one son's coaching his sons in basketball. But I didn't know any different except to show. Except my daughter. She said, Mom, you're more like a dad than a mom. Because I had my rules, but I loved my rules. I let them know I care, except when it wasn't cool. That's okay. We're human, we make mistakes. But resilience and growing up with vision, don't let anybody ever say, you're this, and it doesn't go along with your crown. You wear that proudly, and you make that difference for yourself because you will be leading your millions, and they will know about it too. And thank you. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to call all our speakers up here on stage, because we got a song to play. And I just want to end this with the power of breathe with resolve. Knowledge without action changes nothing. Purpose must become action. Action becomes results. Results become legacy. We're building legacy. And focus on what matters most. Take consistent action. Measure progress. Create lasting impact. And leave something better than you found it. And it didn't have vision in there. The vision is what brings my fire going. The goal is not simply to succeed. The goal is to help others succeed because you were here. So I think we ought to unleash that fire with this song. Come on, everybody, up here. And thank you to all of you, and thank you to our presenters.
Freedom runs wild, passion to share.